Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well today. I've got a video for you that is a start to finish Valentine's journal. It's a no-sew journal, very easy, can be adapted to any kind of journal, and it's great for beginners or somebody who just wants to make a quick little journal. Anyway, sit back and enjoy. I am making a kind of Valentine's card journal thing, and I thought I'd bring you guys along with me. If you haven't made anything for Valentine's Day, or if you need something, and also too, this can be adapted to any kind of card journal thing. It's quick, it's easy. You can definitely use, papers that extra ones that you have. That's what I'm using. You can use envelopes that you have too many of. You can use your scrapbook paper, and I think these would make like great shower gifts, or just quick little gifts to give a friend, a card, anything. Anyway, so I want to show you how to do this real quick. I am using some envelopes that I bought at Hobby Lobby when they were on sale, and they're there a lot. I've seen them several times, and actually I don't know why I didn't buy more last time, but it's probably because I haven't used the ones I already have, and at some point you have to just stop. These were $1.99, and I also bought some other ones that I will be using later on, probably next week or so. But anyway, these, I think the other ones are, let's see here. They're a different style. They had all different kind of styles. They're wedding invitations, basically. And here's the invitation part of that. And they came with these came with these amazing envelopes. And honestly, just even the thank you cards alone are worth $1.99, and so you get all that with this cardstock, and I'm just wanting to use it. So I was gonna make them kind of like this, but I'm actually gonna give this Valentine's to my husband, and it is gonna be a little girly, but not over the top. So I'm trying to kind of keep that part down, but he'll be okay with it. But anyway, so I'm going to be using these. You can use any that you have and adapt the size to what you have. But let me see, I've got to get 3 of these out. So let me get some. I have some envelopes here. It takes 3 envelopes. You'll also need some cardstock for the inserts. I'm using these that came with it just because I have them. This is what the invitation's supposed to be on. So I'm going to be using some of those. So anyway, it's super easy to do this. Let me get a glue stick out because I will be needing that. That one's almost empty. You just need basically your envelopes. I am going to be using some papers that I had originally thought I was going to use in my Valentine's journal, but after I got done, I just thought it was screaming retro to me, so I had to do retro. I mean, that's just what I had to do. So anyway, I'm going to be using these, and this is from the Graphics Fairy. And also I put on the back of some of these, this is Antique Papery. I'll just show them to you real quick. That's Antique Papery. It was a Valentine's bundle, and it was really cheap. They had a sale or something, and it was really crazy cheap. Let's see, put that in there. And then the Graphics Fairy had some really cute Valentines that were not over the top girly, I think, but probably a little bit more. But anyway, I'm going to use these, okay, because I think it'll be cool. And let's see here. I don't think that's the order I wanted them in. Now I'm going to have to figure out how it went. I think it went like this. And I don't know. Maybe that one went there. Yeah, I think this is how it was originally. So that goes there, and then that goes there. Okay, that seems better. Oh, we have another one over here. Oh, no, that goes on the inside, I believe. Okay, so I'm using those. And then also you need some sort of papers for when we put this together, you're going to have to cover like the inside. And you'll need 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to remember how many. You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 papers that can cover the inside, okay? And again, I'm using all leftover paper that I already have. And then you'll need some sort of cardstock to put in the sides. And I'm going to be using the stuff that this came with, and also this one cutout piece that I have for the middle. Okay, so again, you need to adapt them to the envelopes that you have, because you don't want to you don't want to go by my measurements if your envelope's a different size. Okay, so anyway, the other thing that you need, this is a no-sew project. I am going to be using this gold elastic that I bought at the thrift store, but you can easily buy this online. It is, does it say? It just says F98 115 36 feet. It doesn't really say how thick it is. But it's thinner elastic. It's not super heavy duty because you're not holding in a lot of papers. The other thing that you could use any kind of ribbon. I have some of this clear elastic. I've used that before. That works really good. I use the thicker gauge. This doesn't have it on there either, but you can get this in the jewelry department. It's used to make little, they make bracelets and things out of it. And that works really well. And like I said, any kind of like ribbon, you could definitely tie it. You don't have to have elastic. I am going to be using elastic to put as like a binding on this, but you could use just any kind of ribbon, lace. I'll also be using just a little bit of ribbon to kind of reinforce the sides a little bit. You don't really have to do that if you're not going to be manipulating it a lot, but I usually do just because I do. I don't know why I do, but I do. Whatever color or size or whatever you want to do, it just has to be enough to cover 1/8 of an inch and on the side. So, okay, so anyway, I am going to be using my scoreboard. You don't have to do that. You can just use a ruler. But here I go. I'm going to go ahead and try that. You need 3 envelopes to use. My envelopes that I'm using are your standard invitation size. So it's just a little over 5.5 by 8.5. And so that's what I'm using. You want to adapt it, again, to whatever size you have. This part will probably stay about the same. I like to add about 1/8 of an inch of a spine on the part that is going to be holding the papers, okay? You don't have to do this. You can skip that part if you want. But anyway, I put this all the way back on my scoreboard, and I'm just going to go down 1/8 of an inch. Make sure that's all the way down. Okay. Sometimes it slips, so. . 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and you do that on 2 of your envelopes. So do it on this one, and then do it on the other one. And honestly, for this one, you could skip this part because you're not going to have a lot of papers in there. I think I had 5 papers. I wouldn't do that much more, just because, you know, you're not gonna be having that much room to put that in there. So anyway, then all you do is you just kind of fold it along your score line. And as you can see, that's a very small amount, but you know, it's enough when you put the 2 together to give you room for that to, see how small that is. It's super small, but you know, you can do it 1/4 of an inch, but I just don't think you need it on this one. And again, you could also not do it at all and you'd probably be just fine. I just always do that. It's starting to tear a little bit there, but that's okay. It'll be all right because we're going to reinforce it anyway. I usually push it down and then just take my bone folder and go across. Okay, so what we're going to do, where'd my other envelope go? Okay, there we go. Is you've got your 2 envelopes with your 1/8 of an inch, and you're going to go ahead and first you're going to take and put glue around, not on the inner side, but just the edge right here on one of your envelopes. Okay. And then you're going to take, I use glue stick because it gives you some time to work with it. If you use art glitter glue and stuff like that, it tends to, you don't have much time to work with it. That way you can kind of maneuver it. And you just here's the part. You don't want it to stick before you get it in there. So you just kind of maneuver it to where, and you could really put the glue on later, but I usually don't have a problem getting it in there. But here, just kind of hold it out and it won't stick. You want to get it to where you line up your spine that you made. Yeah, this one is just not wanting to go down on this side. I have no idea why. It's not normally that hard. Okay, there we go. That's it. Okay. So now that's in there, and I'm making sure that my spine, you can see the line that you have. You want to line up your spine. That's the important thing. Okay. And then just stick that down, and you want to make sure that you still have an opening right here. Okay. We're not going to be putting things in here, although if you wanted to, you really could. You could definitely put stuff in here or in here. Okay. And not put stuff on the side. That's up to you. But this is unfortunately going to be covered up. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay. So now you've got this stuck together, but you've had this other flap over here. Okay. And this is where, okay, so now you've got these 2 together. And you've got this flap hanging out over there, okay? You're going to go ahead and glue that down, okay? And you can just glue the whole thing down here. It doesn't matter because you're not going to use it as a, and you want to make sure you're keeping your little space in there, but we've already measured it and it's already ready to go. Okay, so now you have this, okay? Which is basically these 2 facing each other, and you've got these openings. Okay, now you're going to take your last envelope and you're going to put it on, and you're going to take the flap of this envelope and you're going to glue that down right here, and it's going to hit right here. Okay, got to make sure you get it even. And so that you got these 2 facing each other, then you're going to take this with this other flap and this glue, my glue stick, I feel very confident it will stick. So, and stay stuck. And this doesn't have a spine. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. Take this goes here, and you just put it right at the edge and make sure it's even. And that goes here. Oh, see, it's not even exactly. Not hard to get it even, but you know. Okay, so that goes like that. So what it's going to look like then is you've got this here, and that's where your pages are going to go, your signature, and then here you have this part. In actuality, this is your card. This is going to be the card part right here, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, it's upside down. This is your card part. You open it up, and that's where you're going to have your sentiment or whatever you want to put in there, and then you flip it the other way and you have your signature back here. Okay, so that's pretty much the guts of it. What I do at this point is I cut this side and this side, your two end pieces. And you could do this in your trimmer. I just use my scissors and go right at the edge and just do a little slither. I mean, it probably would be easier to do it on the trimmer. Okay, so you have an opening here, all right, and that's why you didn't want to do that, okay, on the other side. And you'll see that you have your opening, but look, see, you've got this here. That's why you're going to have paper to cover that. And then you're going to go here. Okay. All right. Now, you can, if you want to, do an opening on top right here. Okay. You can put something on top if you want. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I may do that. I haven't 100% decided. I think I'm going to try it just with the two sides, because I think that's going to give me plenty of what I want to do. But if you open this up, you can also you can put something on the top, okay? All right, what I'm going to do first then is I'm going to go ahead at this point, and I'm just going to put my papers on. And let's see, where did they go? Okay, so the way I'm doing this, and you got to remember, the one that you did the 1/8 inch, that's where your papers go. So you want it to be, this is your card part right here. This is the part where you open it up and there's your card. I mean, you don't have to do it that way. You could do it any way you want to. I'm not going to decorate the front until last, but the inside, what I've done, this is going to be the front of my card, and this part I'm going to add these papers here. And I'm doing that because I'm going to put a sentiment in there. And basically, I picked this out, and I'm going to basically just kind of glue it in there, okay? I was going to put this whole thing in there. Oh, I might still do that. I don't know. It kind of looks cool. It does look kind of cool with that. I think I might cut it off a little bit more. Yeah, I think I may put that whole thing in there. All right, you convinced me. I do think I want to take, let's see, is that enough? Well, that's good enough. All right, so I'm going to just take this. This is just, and actually this is just one of them that when I put it in my printer and I, turned it over to do the other side, I did it upside down. I do that all the time, all the time. And I always have paper, but I never throw those papers away because I use them for stuff. So Okay, so I'm, again, let me get that straighter. It's not exactly straight. And, I mean, you could cut these separate if you wanted to, but I kind of just want them in there like this. I'm making it nice and easy, super quick. Do the other side. And I like using glue stick on stuff like this just because I want to be able to, and I'm going to do one side first. I'm putting this in the middle. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something. Okay. Okay, so you end up with this, okay, and you have your two sides that you've cut open, and you're going to see you're going to have to put papers in there to cover that up, okay? So these two sides are open. Now just remember that the side that your spine is in, that's the side you're going to put your signature in, okay? And at this point, what I do is, that's when I reinforce my spine, and I want to do that on the inside of both. I'm just going to be using some ribbon. You could use lace, just anything. You could use micropore. I don't know if I'm going to use, I think I want to use, I think on that I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue. And I'm just using some ribbon, and this is on the inside of where our, and I'm going to cut this little piece off right here, this little extra piece of paper, so it doesn't rub on there. Where these two hit, and that it'll lay flat, okay? And I'm just going to put just a little bit of glue down the middle, because I know that it'll hold it well. And this isn't going to get a lot of wear and tear, but just putting that little extra ribbon in there, it keeps it from, you know, cracking or breaking or any of that stuff. So I will just take it, and this is just a piece of satin ribbon, and put that, just try and keep it in the middle. Do that. It's really not even going to show that much, but in case it does, you want it to. And lace would do the same thing. A lot of times I'll use micropore if I'm making it kind of vintage, because then I can kind of, you know, grunge it up a little bit. Okay, so that's the one side. And then on the other side, on the inside where the gold is, I keep wanting to pull that. You want to go ahead and need a little bit more. It's not coming out that good. I don't want to overdo it, but I don't want to not put enough either. And I just kind of smush it so it'll go all the way around. And you could tell, I think, I don't know, well, I don't know if you could tell, but when I did this, it kind of tore a little bit on one of these, and that's where this will basically take care of that. Or cracked, really. It didn't really tear. And so anyway, I just put that on there and cut that. Okay. Let's see here. That little section right there needs to be cut just a tiny bit more. All right, so basically that is it. You've done your construction, okay? So we've cut both these sides. Oh, I shouldn't have moved it that quick. It wasn't ready to go yet. Let me let it dry a little bit. That one here too, that one needs to be trimmed a little. That. I could probably put a little bit of that on the end so it doesn't fray. Okay, so anyway, that's what we've done on this side and that side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've cut both the sides, we've reinforced it. This is basically the bones of our card journal. Okay, so the card part of this is this part right here. And so what you would do is this is where you would put your you know, your sentiment, or you would, you know, write whatever you're going to do. I am putting, where did it go? Oh, I did not want to do that. Okay. This is going to go on the inside of my car and my thing here. And I'm putting this in as a sentiment. And I'll probably, you know, write something too. But anyway, I'm going to put that on the other side. But, I mean, you could write something. You could leave it blank. This is just a page. This is from the Graphics Fairy. And I just basically cut it to fit. And you're going to do that on everything. But what I want to do beforehand is I want to ink up around this. And I am going to use Distress Oxide Worn Lipstick. You use whatever. If you're using a vintage look or whatever, you're going to use that. This kind of goes, this pink, I've already kind of tested it. And I just kind of want to go around the edges. Even though it has that look already, it doesn't go all the way around. And actually, I kind of want to go in a little bit more. Because this is all, let me get a piece of paper that I can use that. Here we go, I think. Isn't that funny how you have all this paper and then you can't find any? I just kind of want to go in a little bit with this because you will not be able to, I just want it to kind of blend a little bit more. I might even put a darker color on there too, I don't know. And I'm going to take a little of this around the edges so it kind of all goes together. And if you have like vintage photo or something you want to put on there, do that. But I'm doing this just so that it kind of balances out a little bit. Okay. And you would do that all the way around. And I am going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have inked everywhere I think I need to ink. If I missed a spot, I'll hit it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, let me go, this is the front, and I'm not going to do the front right away. I'm going to go ahead and put this piece in. We're going to do the other pieces first, and I am just going to lay that down. And I think I might even ink these little, the ribbon up here. So let me just do that a little bit. I think it just looks funny that the white is just sticking out over there. That's what's good about using that color. So you can go right over it. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. And yeah, I think that looks better. And that is just going to kind of fit in the middle. So, and you could just leave this like that and, you know, write whatever you're going to in there. But I found this, I was going to cut this out, but I actually think I may just put the whole thing in there because I think it looks good with that. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead, and again, I'm going to use my glue stick and get that on pretty good around the edges. And then in the middle. And I like to use glue stick because it doesn't bubble and it gives me time to move it around. But you need a good glue stick because, you know, and make sure you get it where it's going to fold right. Like, see, that is off a tiny bit. Right? Okay, yeah, I think that's right. I hope it's right. Okay, it's not on there flat. Okay, did I put that on there crooked? I might have. See, that's why you want glue stick. Okay, you you want that on there so you have time to move it around a little bit. I think I just put it on a tiny bit crooked. Not super crooked. I mean, it would be okay, but I do have time to move it around and put more glue on it because it does dry really quick. But that's the big reason why I use glue stick, to give me an opportunity to change my mind, move it around. I can tell I probably won't make it through with just that one glue stick. All right, let me make sure I have it on the right portion. Yeah, okay, that's right. Oh, the other thing I did not do is you do need to kind of use your bone folder. Make sure that's in the right, the crease is in the right spot there. Because after we put the ribbon on, it gets kind of stiff. You want to kind of go over it a little bit. Okay. Again, let's make sure I'm using the right one. This is going to be dry by the time I get around to using it. Okay, so now I'm going to get this in there straight, hopefully. If I cut it right on the line. Do I have it? Yeah, I think I have it pretty good. Okay, I think that time I hit it. It's a little crooked last time. Okay. And I'm just gonna go over that, make sure it stays down, hit any spots I didn't get. Of course, you can go back over it, make sure you get all your ends and everything. And I'm gonna put this on there, but I think I'm gonna ink that a little bit. I think it'd be kind of pretty. Okay, so that is gonna go right there. I'm gonna try and center that good. I want a little bit of the other paper showing so it kind of frames it. All right, and put that on. Okay, so I've got that. Oh, that's really crooked. Okay, really, really crooked. I don't know what it is today. I just can't see anything straight, I think. Oh, try it again. Start at the bottom and line it up, I think will be better. Okay, but I want it down more. Let me get it down just a tiny bit more. Does that look okay? That looks a lot better than it did last time. Just a tiny bit this way. Just a tiny, tiny smidgen. Probably nobody would notice but me. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm gonna put that down. I think I'm gonna definitely need more glue because I think it kind of dried a little bit since I could not make up my mind where I wanted this thing, right? Okay, so that's the inside part right there. So I've done that. Now what I'm gonna do, let me make sure that's not on the line. There we go. And since I added that extra paper, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure the crease is in there good. Because remember, we just added that paper, okay? So that's the inside part of my card, all right? Now, we're gonna flip this over, and that's where we're gonna put our signature. But we have, this is gonna be our front. We're gonna do that last. This is still coming out. I already put glue on that, so. Oh, it looks like we need some stuff up there a little bit. There we go. I guess some of it came off when I put all that glue on. Okay, so anyway, so this will be the front, but see, this is the back cover is what it is. because you're going to flip it over. And so you want something on there, and I'm going to put this piece on there. Okay, so that's going to go on there, right? And I did not ink that, but I think I might just to make it kind of blend in with the background a little bit. And we're going to put some glue on that. And I'm going to try and center this on there, you know, somewhat. Yeah, I did it crooked again. Boy, I tell you what. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Anyway, so that is that one. And I'm going fast. You guys take your time, you know, and put enough glue and all that. I mean, I'll probably come back and touch up on these, but you want to make sure you get it down there good. Okay, so that is technically your back cover. And of course you can decorate that more. I mean, I'm just doing this just to give you an idea. And then now what happens is this opens up, okay? And then that is going to be where you put your signature. But again, you've got two pieces here you need to cover. So I have, let's see, which ones did I decide? We're going to go in there. That one and this one. Okay, I am putting two pieces in there that you can write on, and that's where I'm going to put another little sentiment that I write in there, and then I'm going to write a note on here, okay? And I didn't think about inking these before, but I guess I can. Okay, so I went ahead and I inked around them so you didn't have to watch that part. And I'm going to put these two papers down next. You can cover this whole envelope to the point where you don't, you know, all the way around it. If you want to, you just want to make sure that you don't cover the spine portion. I'm using these papers that I already had, so I basically I'm not going to cover it from, you know, top to bottom, but let's see here. And put that up a tiny bit and get it kind of sort of straight. Okay, let me see. Does that look okay? That looks pretty good. Okay, and I'm just going to do this. And as I said, you take your time and do what you're going to do. I think I am going to put ink up here, though. I do like that look with the pink up there better. And actually, I could do the whole thing, couldn't I? Let me just, nah, that's all right. You won't be able to see it for our purposes. You really won't. Okay, so then put that down since I picked it up. Okay, so that's that side. And then on this side, I'm going to go ahead and put this. And I mean, you could switch these around, put whatever kind of paper you want on there. But there's really not a lot of spaces to write on this, and I wanted to make sure that I could do that on there. And I'm probably, you know, I may cut out something else to put in there. Not sure yet. Haven't 100% decided. Kind of want to line that up with my other paper so they're sitting at the same height, you know. Okay. No, they're not. Pull that down a little bit, just a tiny bit. There we go. That's a little better, I think. Yeah. Okay. put a little bit more glue on the edges. That's what I always seem to not do. Okay, so that is that. And of course, any little pieces that you have that you need to glue down, glue those down, because they do come loose a little bit when you're, you know, in your envelope. Just make sure you're not gluing it shut. You want those openings on the side right here. Okay, so that is the inside part. And remember, we put our ribbon in there to reinforce it. Okay, so now all we're going to do is we're going to stick our pages in here. And I've already got them arranged the way I want them. And I'm going to just take my elastic. And no idea why there's a knot in here. Kind of weird. And all I'm going to do, and that's part of the reason why you put the ribbon in there, because if you just put the paper, it'll start to tear at the ends. I just take my ribbon or my, and again, you could use ribbon. I take my elastic and kind of measure how I want it. You want it kind of tight, but not super tight. Cut that right there. I don't know if I want a bow. I might do a bow. How about doing a bow? Let's see. Okay, I'll do a bow. What the heck? Okay. I can't pick it up for some reason. And so I am just going to tie that in the middle. Just to make it snug. Do that. And I do it pretty snug. Where's my little tweezers? I always do it, you know, reasonably. You don't want it to where it's bending the sides, but then again, you want it to where it holds the papers in. I do this. All right, there we go. And I will just double tie a knot there. Okay. I don't know if I want it that big. Maybe a little smaller than that. Okay. And, all right, that side's too big. Yeah, I don't want it too big. And I just tie it twice just to make sure it stays. And of course, you could, you know, put glue on that to make it hold or do whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to leave it for now. And that is how your signature is going to stay in there, okay? Now that you've done that, the only thing left to do at this point is you're going to put your cover on. That thing needs to turn off. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, here it is. I am going to use this for the cover because I just think it's adorable. I'm going to put that on. And you can do whatever you want, guys. I mean, lace it up, do whatever. Okay. And I'm going fast because I am trying to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. Move that over a tiny bit. And I think it's kind of crooked. Let's see. Is that? Nope, it is, needs to move over a tiny bit. See, that's why I like glue stick. It gives you time to mess with it. Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, now let me get it down there good. And I use the Scotch glue stick. I know people that watch my channel, I have said that, and I really like it because it does work really well. It's the Scotch Permanent, and I buy the big 18 pack because I use it a lot. Okay, this is not having enough glue on that side. Okay, there we go. So that is my cover, okay? And I'm gonna add a few things to that because it is my cover. I put them in here. Let me get all this stuff out. I don't know if I'm gonna use them all, but I'm gonna use a few. Come on, get out. All right, so let's see here. I was going to use, I think I'm gonna ink this up too. I was gonna vintage it up. I might do that too. I don't know if I want the pink. I think I'm gonna use vintage photo on that because it is a kind of white. This is the Tim Holtz cutouts. I already put the pink on, but I'm gonna go over it with the vintage photo and put that on. And get that all on there. Again, I could have done this ahead of time, but it won't take that much time. Again, you don't have to do that. You could do, you know, I'm going to be using this little thing here. It's just a little cutout that I have of a plate or a label type thing. I've got this. It's just a little word. I may put that on there. I don't think I'm going to use that. I did have something else I was going to use. Maybe this. I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. We'll see. We shall see. And this little butterfly. Okay. So now that I've done all that, I don't know if I'm going to put the hearts on there. I really probably am not. And all I'm going to do, let's see, how did I have this? I think I'm going to put that there because we have kind of a blank space right here. So I'm going to kind of go like that. It's going to hang off a little bit. And then I thought I would put this up here because we have another blank space up there, maybe up higher. I think I'll put that up there because then I'm going to put this little plaque. I don't want to cover that up at all. So maybe I'll put that down here. Yeah, I think I want that about right here. And then I'm going to put that on there. And where'd my number go? I had it a minute ago. Oh, there it is. I'm going to put number 1 down here with the little butterfly off in the corner, kind of overlapping a little bit. Or maybe I'll put it up here. I don't know. Maybe I'll put that up there. It seems like it needs something up there. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want to overdo it. I kind of want it to be pretty simple. Okay, so now on this, I am going to use my dark glitter glue. And I don't know, I've had people ask me about using the art glitter glue in these containers, and this is the 4-ounce one. I wouldn't want the 8 ounce. It'd be too big. You'd have a half empty bottle all the time. That's part of the reason I don't buy the 8 ounce. I looked at the price and it's really the same, but I actually put my art glitter glue in here and it does come out faster, but you can have a small stream on this. You just have to not squeeze, so you have to learn that. So basically on this, you can have it come out the same as you do the other tip. You just have to not squeeze it. If you squeeze it, it'll come out and glob. But I kind of like that because to me, it gives you more control. See, it comes out the same as long as you don't squeeze. So I'm gonna put this a little overlapping. Okay, there we go. And I think think I'll put the top one on. And I'm not decorating the back one, but you definitely could do that, the back cover, because you basically have two covers to this. The back is really a cover to where the journal part is. And I'm going to kind of put that at the corner. See if I can get that part to go down. Right? And then I'm going to put this, did I decide? Yeah, I want it about right there. Because you have all this blank space in here, because she's kind of off to the side. And since we have so much gold on this, I want to, you know, I want to kind of bring in the gold a little bit. And you can't see the gold yet, but you will in a minute. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. Got a little bit of glue on there, but I think it will come off. Oh, got glue on there too. I'm starting to get glue all over my fingers, so. Okay, got that on there. Then I'm gonna do this, and this has a little, what do you call it, thingy on there, so I'm gonna, and you know, you could definitely do this and lace it up and do all kinds of good stuff, but I'm just not going to do that today. I'm going to put that about right there. Actually, I think I want to put it over here because I want the butterfly underneath, I think. Kind of like that. Yeah. So, I want to make sure that you can see the number 1. Okay, so that's on there like that. And that is my cover, okay? The back, I'm not doing anything more than that. Now on the sides, I have my 2 pieces of paper that I'm putting in. And those are going to go in here like that, okay? So these are going to fit right on the side. And you could totally skip this part if you want. Uh-oh. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, that's a little bit too much on there. Okay, so you want to put this over here. And I may have to cut that a little bit shorter on the ends. And then this side is going to have this one. You know, this did not stick on there, but guys, when I put this paper down, you should not have put it on this portion right here. On this portion right here. Mine didn't stick, but make sure you don't put glue there. You just put glue here, here, and here, and then stick your paper down. But luckily mine did not stick, so make sure when you do yours you don't do that. Okay, that's sticking out a little bit too much, so I'm going to have to trim both of those down. And I think I'm going to go right to here. Let me see. Is that too much? I don't think so. Because I do want it to... Oh, that's crooked. How did that get crooked? Unless it started crooked. Or maybe I lined it up wrong. Straighten out. Okay, that's a little better. Get that in there. Okay, good. All right. So now these two pieces right here, oh, I should have inked those up, and I did not do that. I'm inking these on the back side just because I am going to be putting stuff on here later. And I do want it kind of inked. Basically, I'm doing the same thing as I did before on the envelopes, but I'm just bringing the pink all the way around, you know, and you really don't have to. I mean, you could not ink your stuff at all if you don't want to, but I'm doing it just because I know I am going to actually be putting pictures on these little card things. I'm going to put 4 pictures. We took a trip. If you're new to my channel, you haven't heard, but this summer we bought a travel trailer and we decided to first go to Colorado. My youngest son moved there about a year ago, and went to go visit him. And we figured that was the safest way to travel because we're in our own bed in our own kitchen, and oh, we had a blast. And we had such a good time doing that. We went for 2 weeks all over Colorado, and had great weather, had a wonderful time. Just my husband and I, and our dog that has since passed away, which I really am grateful that we took that trip with her. I didn't do that side as much, did I? I'm kind of going in the edges because I'm going to put pictures in here and on the other side. So I kind of want it to, so I'm basically going to put a picture here, picture here, picture here, picture here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I have little tabs, and these are just left over from when I did another project. So I'm going to put those on, and let me just do that. Nothing fancy, just little tabs that kind of sort of go with it. Not exactly, but that way you know that there's something there and you can pull it out kind of in the middle. I'm eyeballing it. I'm not doing a very good job. Okay, so there's that. And then let me do the other side. So that is what I'm going to do on there. Now you could put whatever you want, but I just thought it was a cute idea to put some pictures that I just had a whole bunch of pictures that see, that's going there, so this has to go here. I want the gold part at the bottom. No specific reason why, just that's how I want it. Again, this is what came with my little card set, but you could use any kind of scrapbook paper, anything you have. Gosh darn it. Okay. Did I do that? Nope, did not do it even at all. Man, I'll tell you, I can't seem to see anything straight today. I could have lined them up to begin with, and that would have been smart, right? I just want them in the same spot because you're going to be able to see, you know, on both sides. So it looked kind of funny if one's up and one's down. I doubt that my husband would notice, but it would bother me. Okay, need more ink on that one. And I'm just kind of throwing some ink on there to kind of make it all seem like it goes, because this is not even from that same paper thing. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here. And again, remember what I said, I screwed up, but it didn't screw up, because when I put this paper in, okay, I should have only put glue right here, okay, because you need to keep this open. Remember we split it right here? This has to stay open because that forms our pocket. So I put glue here, and the only reason it didn't stick is because it didn't stick well to this, okay, and it wasn't all the way dry. And the same thing with this side, that would have to be, it has to be open, okay? So again, this was like that, so you would have only put glue here. So on my prototype, I did it right. I move so fast when I'm doing this, when I'm filming, I don't always. Now, if you have loose pieces of the original envelope, you want to make sure you go in there and put your glue, like I have right here. Get that all kind of situated, because otherwise your little tab thing will get stuck in there. I'm gonna let that dry before I put that in there and do that piece. See how it kind of, you know how envelopes come loose like that. Let me do the other side while I'm waiting for that to dry. Yeah, when I'm moving fast, sometimes I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. When I do it on my own, you know, I put some thought into it, but you know, it's just different when you're trying to get things done quick. So, all right. So now you're just going to put your, and I guess it just depends however you want to do it. I want to put this on here, because to me this is the front, okay, and I'm just going to put that in there. It has a tab, just a little tab, you don't want it sticking out too much. And then on this side you have another tab, and that goes over there, and it's just not, you know, it's not really, it's still not straight. It's close, but it's still not straight. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much it. The only thing that I was going to do, here we go. Oh, you know what? I have this ribbon right here. This might be cool. I may not use that. I think it's too much. Let's try this. Yeah, I just think I had it, so I was like, I never use that stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, I'd really like to use it. Okay, so maybe I just do this. Right? How about that? How about that? That looks cool with the green, I think. Because I have that green butterfly. Well, I think I've made up my mind. Okay, there we go. That's kind of cute, right? Okay, so there's our card. It's super, super easy. I always make things look harder than they are. So, you know, just kind of just, you know, get to the nitty gritty of it, and you'll find it's pretty easy. So I am going to put, this is our little slide out thing, and I'm going to put, oh, I did that upside down, because that goes, where did that go? Let me see. Oh, I put the thing on the wrong side. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, because honestly, it's not gonna matter. It might act, that's why it's off. I did it on the back. Oh well, God. Okay, so anyway, here's my little thing. I'm sliding out here. I'm gonna have a picture here and one there. Okay, and then I'm going to open it up, and here's my sentiment for my card. That's my card part. And then I flip it over, and here's the back cover And on the back cover, I have room to write whatever I want, put another sentiment, and a little journal part. And I mean, you could put more pictures in there. You could write some things in there. Do whatever it is you want. But there you go. That's it. So this whole process honestly would take you maybe 45 minutes to an hour if you know, if you don't spend a lot of time worrying about what papers and that type of thing you're going to use. So I personally think something like this would be really cute to use for, like a shower gift or something like that. You could do that up in all different kinds and put your laces and all that kind of stuff on it. But I think that this is going to be cute, and I'm happy with it. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and you get out your old envelopes and make some journals with them. Very easy to do, very quick. Great for beginners or great for anybody who just wants to make a quick journal. Anyway, if you happen to need any IOD, Fusion, Paint Couture, Sweet Pickins Milk Paint, Pen Art, JRV products, Roycycle products, decoupage papers, you can get that on my website, rehatchdesigns.com. The link will be in the description. We offer free shipping, flat rate shipping, and fast shipping. And hopefully I will see you guys again soon. And if you like this video, I really would appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up and think about subscribing. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.